Hello. Back here again. Episode 2, I guess you could say. Um, yeah. Name is Victoria. Hello, it's me. And this is Vulture Leatherworking. I am going to be continuing to work on my 410 case today. Hey, glad to see you can make it. Yeah, I'll go over some stuff from last episode just as a refresher or if anybody missed it. So I'm making a case for my 410 shotgun. I'm a little quiet. Okay, thank you for letting me know. I might turn myself up. Let me know if that's better. And so I'm going to be making my case for my 410. The case that I have currently is just a soft fabric case. Nothing fancy. It is what it is. And it's too long. So this whole part is kind of useless. And it just kind of folds over. But so I've been wanting to make a 410 case, or I guess a case for this gun for quite some time. And yeah, it's just taken me a while to, I guess get the nerve up to start making this case because it's a lot of leather and quite a big project. I think this is going to be kind of the biggest, size-wise project that I've ever made, so it's taken me a while to want to start making this. I got the pattern from, The Art of Making Leather Cases, and yeah, I saw there's definitely a few gun cases in here that I liked, but they were more focused on having a gun case to put under your saddle or while you're riding a horse, which I obviously don't have, so I'm making one that has a handle on it, and you can add a shoulder strap to it, which I'm going to, and then it just zips back here so that you can carry your case around and then take your shotgun out whenever you have to, I guess. And yeah, I just bought a zipper for this yesterday, went to the Tandy Leather Supply, and blindly bought a zipper without measuring, which maybe wasn't the smartest, but I think it's going to work out, and because it's just supposed to go around the end down here, and I would honestly kind of rather have a zipper that's a little too short rather than having a zipper that's too long and then figuring out how to make it shorter and having it work. So I think this is going to be fine, but I still have quite a ways to go before putting this zipper on anyway, because I'm going to be doing a lot of tooling in the leather before I even start putting anything together. This case, I'm really happy about making it because, again, oh, Jonesy's screaming. Okay. Again, this case is kind of too big. The rest of it, width-wise and stuff is fine, and it's nice and padded and stuff, but it's just too long. And, yeah, this is one of my favorite shotguns. It's the first gun I've ever shot in my life, and it's a really fun gun to shoot. I like shooting the clay birds, so they're just little clay fired discs that you throw out and you get to shoot at a moving target essentially, and that's one of my favorite things to do. And most people shoot with 12 gauge, which the shot for 12 gauge is yay big. I know he's... Buddy, why are you screaming? Come here. Do you want attention? No, he's quiet. So this is 12 gauge. This is what I think probably the most popular shotgun size or type there is. And the gun I'm working on right now is a 410, which is a lot smaller. So it is more fun for me to shoot because, one, it's just easier on my shoulder to shoot with it for a long day on the range, and I also just feel better because you have to be I think, a little more accurate to hit the birds with a smaller shot than with the 12 gauge. So I just feel better when I hit stuff because I knew I was right on it. And yeah, so I went yesterday and I bought the zipper and I bought a bunch of D-rings so that I can put it on top for the handle and then underneath for the shoulder strap. Yeah, pistols are my weak spot. I think in order of, I don't want to say goodness isn't a word, but in order of like accuracy, I guess, like shotguns are my favorite. I'm pretty good shot with shotguns and doing the clay birds and everything. Pretty good with the rifles. I don't shoot anything big, just like the 22s and stuff, but they're really fun. And then handguns, I'm just really terrible at. But I also, the handgun I do have is a 357, which just hurts your wrist, and you don't have to shoot it for very long before it starts hurting, and so I don't get to, I guess, practice it with it as much because it's just a big shot, and it's like, it's fun to shoot, but on the same hand, it's like, it's a lot. So, yeah, so I'm gonna be doing this today. I have a kind of sketch on what I want the designs on this case to be. The gun I want is a little expensive, so I haven't been able to get it. Yeah, guns are definitely expensive. I think, I don't even know if I've bought one for myself yet. Like, all the ones that I've gotten have been, like my dad got me my 12 gauge for my 18th birthday, and, like, stuff passed down from, like, my grandpa or something, so I don't think I've actually ever had to buy my own gun before, which is weird to say, but, yeah, I definitely get you, guns are not cheap. But that's, you know, probably for a reason, right? I wouldn't probably trust the super cheap guns, so. Gotta put this down here. Okay, so I've made a rough sketch. Maybe I can put this up closer and focus the camera a bit. There we go. So I'm gonna do a jackrabbit here, and then the handle part. On this hide, I have a part where the hide was branded. So I'm gonna put the brand here where the handle's gonna go. I'm gonna do a rattlesnake, and then on the other side, I'm gonna do a bighorn sheep, and then I'm gonna do my favorite plant, which is an ocotillo, which, since I'll have the shoulder strap on, it'll be held vertically, so the plant will be vertical when it's held on my shoulder, and then I'll do a vulture in the middle, because it's vulture leatherworking. Obviously, I love vultures. So I'm just kind of doing, gosh, I gotta like manually focus my camera every time. Obviously, I'm just doing kind of a compilation of all of my favorite desert things. So yeah, I did the jackrabbit, or at least I started on it last week. I'll show the progress on that so far. I think today I'm going to work on the rattlesnake and at least get that like carved out and started, and I might kind of hop back and forth between the jackrabbit and the rattlesnake and just kind of see how that's going. And yeah, I don't think I'm going to get to the other side at all today because the rattlesnake's going to be pretty big. It's going to go down kind of the length of where the barrel would be. So yeah, this middle part is going to be a separate piece of leather that I still have yet to cut out, but I have time, so yeah, put these down there. So, God, I have so much stuff on my desk. I have my windows open right now, but I'm like considering closing them because I have loud cars driving down my street and I don't know how much it picks up on the mic, but it's also hot today. It's March in San Diego, and it's, let's see what the weather is. It's 80 degrees, and it's 11 a.m., and it's going to be a high of 89 today, and it's March. Okay. So, we'll see what happens. But anyway, I have these scraps here that will get used later in the project to put like a little lining underneath here for something. I don't know, it's just part of the design. It doesn't make sense to me yet, but I'm sure it will once I get there. So I've used tracing paper to get my designs in my case. I did the rabbit already, and I started tooling it, and now I'm going to see if I can figure out how to get the snake centered on my desk without everything falling. Jonesy, please, sir. Why are you scrim? So, bud? I think he probably wants to be outside too, because it's warm, and he's a naked cat, and wants to be outside and be warm. I know, my audio is finally synced. I think it's because I, one, switched to OBS, and I got out of Streamlabs because that was terrible, and I stopped using my phone for my camera, and I started using an actual camera, and so I think using my phone and then, like, plugging in the oh my god, what is it called? The URL, I almost kept saying USB. The URL and stuff was, like, delaying it, so, yeah, you know, we're working through, one technical difficulty at a time. So, yeah, I guess I'll show you guys the progress on my rabbit so far, and then I will get the leather wet and start carving out I have a little snake roughly here that I wanna do. This should be good. Okay. Let's show you guys what I did last week. Oh gosh. Figure this out. I have a manually focusing camera, so every time I get up close I have to manually fix it, so apologies, but doing what I have to. Yeep. Alright, there's my rabbit that I've done so far, my jackrabbit. He's not quite done yet, but he's getting there. I've carved out the outlines and started stamping. Gosh, where's the focus? Please help me. There we go. Started stamping some stuff. But I definitely want to do more, I think more stuff in the background. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a sort of scenery thing or just do maybe like some patterns in the back so that the background's darker and the rabbit stands out a bit more. But yeah, so I always turn it the wrong way before I get it the right way. There we go. Yeah, so this looks like this currently, and I have it flat so that I can carve and dye and do whatever I'm going to do, and then eventually this will get folded like this, and then stitched along the bottom, and then the zipper is going to go around the end like this, so the only part of this gun case that's going to open is this back part. I'll be able to open this up and then kind of just slide the shotgun out, which again, it's a 410, it's pretty slim, so I'm not worried about it. And yeah, I'm going to do the top handle, and then I'm going to also do the shoulder strap, which was like optional, but I really like the option of that, so doing that. Trying to figure out how to place this on my desk so that, because this is going to be in the way for me to do the snake, but good lord. Let's see here. Yeah, I have a 410 shotgun. I love her dearly. I probably should name it my gun, but I don't. So, yeah, I was showing before, I was comparing like the size difference in the 12 gauge and the 410 and how much smaller the 410 is, and I love it. So I just like how small. Oops. The only thing I don't like about the 410 is it's not the easiest to find ammo, but you know, because 12 gauge you can find on a street corner, but yeah, the 410 has kind of been hard to come by, especially recently, so that's my only gripe. But so in order to carve into leather and do anything to it, this is veg tan leather, which is a type of leather you can tool into and stuff, but in order to do that you got to get it wet, and then you can do what you want to it. So Usually I would take my leather and kind of just like run it under the sink really quick, but my sink is all the way over there, and this is also kind of a weird long piece that I would be awkward to run under my sink anyway, so it's also, again, it's hot here today, it's 80 degrees already, so I have a feeling I'm going to have to re-wet this a lot, but that's fine. I have my little cup of water here, and my t-shirt that I'm just going to try to get this as wet as I can in order for it to like take the stamps and everything. So I'm going to have my snake. Put it down here. And this should be enough room still for me to put the other piece of leather where I'm going to have the handle. Let me like make sure, because I don't feel like carving this whole thing out, and then yeah, it'll be fine. That would suck if I carved this whole thing out and then the head ended up like underneath the handle. So yeah, I have my tracing paper here, and I forgot a tool. Did I? No. Get this right here. So this just has like, I don't know, it's like a stylus kind of, but metal. And I'm just going to use this to kind of trace over my snake, and it'll leave a light kind of impression on the leather, so then I can go in with my swivel knife and carve out the design and then take all my stamps and start tooling it. Have I ever made leather torso armor? I have not. Although I've thought about it for like making tiny armor for my little taxidermy mice. I think that would be kind of cute, but no, I have not made any sort of leather armor before, which does seem really cool, and I have seen people do it and it seems super like intense, but I think my biggest like worry would be making the whole thing, and then at the end of it I'm just like, wow, this doesn't even fit me. So you know, with a wallet or a purse or something, it's pretty one size fits all, so I wouldn't be quite so nervous with a mouse or something. There's not quite as much, you know, leather at stake, but this paper is like crinkling because it's getting wet. That's okay. I just need it for a rough outline. I'm trying to figure out like how I want to do the scales, if I want to kind of just give like the impression of scales, because I don't really think I want to go in and carve every little scale out. That seems a little tedious to me, but also I have no timeline for this project. This is my own gun case again that I'm making for myself, so it's not like I'm on any sort of time crunch, so I could get as detailed as I wanted to, but which is also like kind of the goal of this project, is to kind of take my time on this, because usually with the tooling and stuff and the leather, I get to a certain point and then I just get, I don't think anxious is the right word, but I just get excited, I guess, to put everything together and like see how the whole thing's gonna look, and I just want to like progress with the project, and so I get like, you know, like 85 or like 90% of the way done with the tooling, and I'm like, oh, like it's good enough, and then I go on to the next steps, and so I'm trying very hard to just slow down and take as much time as I need on this project and get it the way I want it to. I mean, also because I'm nervous about some of the steps in here. I've never installed a zipper on anything, especially leather, so I'm nervous for that step, so it may be good that I'm procrastinating in a way, but anyway, let's see. So I have, you probably can't see it, maybe a tiny bit, I have a very faint like impression here on the leather of where my snake is. Probably gonna have to get this wet again already. This is gonna be half the stream as me soaking down leather. It should not be this hot already in March, but here we are. I'm excited though, it's my birthday this weekend, I'm gonna go camping. looking forward to that. Definitely won't have this ready in time, but it'll be okay. It snowed for you? How? I can't even imagine right now. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt right now, and I'm mildly sweating. I'm like, I can't imagine it snowing right now. It would be fun. Don't get me wrong. Although, again, I've never really had to deal with much snow, so I probably wouldn't know what to do with it anyway. But yeah, the weather's getting wild, and I don't think I like it. Okay. So this is a swivel knife. I will get up close and show. Focus. Yes, this is a swivel knife. It's got a little kind of somewhat blade on it, and it swivels around, called the swivel knife. So you can hold it roughly like this and carve your little heart away. And yeah, it's kind of a hard-ish tool to use because I feel like it's not super intuitive on how to use it. So I still have some problems like getting really smooth, like tight corners and stuff, but I make it work. That's true, yeah, if I was snowed in, I probably would just work on leather, but I don't know, I'm also a lizard, and I can't stand being cold, and I think that would be the part that would be hard for me, is just being cold all the time. Unless I had like a fireplace at home, then I'd be stoked, but trying to decide which end I want to start on. I think I'll start here and work my way down. Oh, do you prefer the cold over the heat? I'm like a little desert rat lizard. If that's even a thing. Go carving. I do hate sweating too, although I don't know. I think I'm just a naturally heavy sweater, so I think no matter the temperature, I'm going to be sweating regardless. So I think I'd rather just be comfortable and warm rather than freezing. I think I also just get cold easy, so it doesn't have to be that cold for me to start feeling it. And the wind especially, I hate the wind. I like a good nice breeze sometimes, but if it's windy and it's cold, I'm miserable. I gotta like figure out how to position myself to do this. Okay, I got one side done. I'm hoping I don't make this snake too fat or thin, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully I'll keep them relatively even on both sides. Okay, now I want to like flip this over because I'm going the other way. Lord help me. Okay, this is okay. This will work. I didn't really think about this when I set up my desk for today, on how I would position myself, but that's alright. body kind of down the way carved out. She got a little thick spot here, but that's okay. Maybe she just ate a mouse. You never know. Okay, I'm gonna probably struggle a bit here to carve the rattles on the tail because it's a lot of like close little curves and stuff, but you know, we're gonna do our best. I'm just trying to like keep in mind that this is for myself, and as long as I like it, it's alright, and doesn't have to be perfect. Because I tend to be pretty hard on myself, like art-wise, but... Ooh, look at her swivel knife in. It's swiveling. That's for sure. Good God. Okay. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of leather rotation today, I have a feeling. Okay. I'm gonna do this. And some of these. And some of these. Yeah, there are classes at the Tandy Leather Supply that I go to, but it sucks because they're always on Saturdays, and I work Saturdays, and I'm like, do I just call out a Saturday and go to a leather class? It's kind of tempting. But they have classes on how to make certain little, like they have pre-made kind of kits, and then they have like classes, like I think they have a class that goes like 2 or 3 weeks that you go through a bunch of tooling, which I've been interested in because tooling is really fun for me, but I also definitely could probably use some tips, but I keep hitting the microphone. Trying to figure out how to like, okay, so I got the body and then the rattle carved out, and I'm going to carve the, I guess, outline of the head, and then I'll show y'all what the just basic carving looks like. Okay. Maybe if I do this. Hey, look at that. That's using our noggins. What's up, bud? What's up? Come here. Do you just want attention? Come on. No, you just want to scream? Okay, that's fine. Sometimes Jonesy... Oh, he does want attention. Hello, sir. How are you? Are you gonna drink out of my cup of water there? Oh. Okay, it's shoulder time. He just wants to sit his butt on my head. I don't think you can see him. I'm trying to get both sides of the head kind of even, but we'll see about that. Hi. Oh my gosh. Okay. Alright, we've got to take a little intermission for some Jonesy pets. If anybody hates the cold, it's him. You're just gonna have a seat here? He's a very interesting cat to pet. He feels odd. He's also... Are you sucking on your tail? He likes to suck on the end of his tail, which I've never had a cat do that, but he does, which I think is very interesting. And he is hairless, but he does have He does have fur on him. Mostly his feet and his tail and like his ears and face. His whole body has like a kind of peach fuzz on it. But yeah, he likes to chew and suck on the end of his tail, and it gets just sopping wet, and it's really disgusting. And then he jumps on my shoulder, and it, like, his wet tail will like flick me in the face, and it's vomit-inducing territory sometimes. But the struggles of a hairless cat owner. Man, you're going for it, aren't you? Okay. Ugh, God, it's wet. Like, ew. there's liquid on the end of that. Bud, you're nasty. Alright, can I show the good people my carving now? You're not even in focus, bud. He's like, looking right at the camera, not in focus, but that's okay. Oh my goodness. I know, I know. You wrinkly little man. Okay, alright. There's the wet tail across the face. Oh my god, he's like laying on my shoulder right now. Alright, well I would show you the progress of the carving right now, but I can't really get up because he's on me. So, I'm gonna re-wet this. Jesus Christ, bud. Where'd he go? Here we go. Usually when I'm streaming, sometimes he cries. Oh god, but usually he like just goes into bed and sleeps, which is nice, but today he's very attention seeking. Yeah, and I guess now that I got it wet, you can see the carving a bit. Cool. And then I have a bunch of these tools here. Jonesy is really distracting me. Okay. He's trying to drink out of my cup of water here that I'm using to wet this down. And I've noticed when he drinks water, I think it's because he doesn't really have whiskers. Like the whiskers he does have are super short. And so I've noticed that when he goes to drink water, he kind of just has to like, bud. Okay. He kind of just dips his face in the water until his nose finds where the surface of the water is, and then he like has to snort all the water out, and it's very funny, but it's messy. Okay, I gotta put this somewhere you can't get it. I don't really need them anymore anyway, but him crunching on tracing paper is gonna be loud. He's doing his best with what God gave him. Alright, you could just see his little ears there on the edge of the screen. You're looking very orange today, sir, I gotta say. Anyway, so I have this main part carved out. Usually here's where I get stuck, and then I'm like, God, what am I supposed to do next? And so I usually just go around with a kind of smooth, one of these smooth tools, and I kind of just go around the edge, and I kind of push the outer edge down to make the snake stand up a bit, and then it kind of helps me figure out where I need to go next. Garfield but bald, he really is. Especially because he eats anything and everything. Probably even lasagna if you gave it to him, but he is very orange in that way. The way he's not orange is that he is the smallest cat I've ever owned. My other two boys are they're big boys, and Jonesy here is about like 8 pounds. He's definitely the smallest cat I've ever had. So Binks, he's lost weight, but at his biggest he was about I think 18 pounds, which was getting sad there for a minute. Like he was having some poop issues. He's having a little diarrhea, and he was too fat to clean himself. And I was like, you know, I think it's a problem when I have to like bathe my cat because he has diarrhea and can't clean himself. So we put him on a diet. he's doing good. He's lost weight and his little butt issues are resolved. So, but he's still a big boy. So, yeah, usually with these tools, people tend to like take a hammer and hammer along the whole way. I do that sometimes if it's for like one of the more textured stamps, or if it's just like a single stamp that I want to do, like, you know, my logo, or like have like a little lizard here, or if there's just like a single thing I want to do, or like lettering. God, if I want to just stamp a letter, I want to stamp a letter into leather. If you say that 5 times fast. But for the kind of smooth stuff and for maybe some of the other like lighter textures, I kind of just like, I don't want to say like modeled it like clay, but I kind of just press into it, and if the leather's wet enough you can kind of mold it. And sometimes I don't really like using the hammer on stuff like this because I feel like I just don't get as smooth of a finish. Like you can kind of see every strike of my hammer, I guess, and I just don't like that. So I'm doing this because it works for me. So just going around, still debating if I want to, how I want to do the scales on this, because I'm going to do like kind of like a Western Diamondback, or like a, yeah, Southern Pacific rattlesnake type deal. So I have little rattles here. They have kind of like black and white stripies down here on the tail, and then they have, yeah, kind of like the diamonds on the back here. And not a whole lot of pattern on the head, but there's some designs up there, and I'm like debating how I want to make it look scaly. If I want to try to do some sort of texture on it to make it look rough, or if I want to sit here and tediously kind of like carve something out, which I don't really want to do. And I'm also, I guess, trying to figure out how I'm going to make the pattern on the back, because, I mean, the whole snake is textured. It's just the color difference that's, I guess I have to figure out how I'm going to do. So I'm also not sure if I'm even going to dye this or not. Kind of leaning toward yes, because I think it would look nice dyed, but dyeing is difficult. And I'm notoriously, I wouldn't say not great at dyeing, but there's definitely another learning curve to staining and dyeing leather, and I've obviously put a lot of time already into this, and I'm not even halfway done, not even a quarter of the way done, but and I would, I guess, be nervous about dyeing this and then kind of ruining everything. It's like, I guess it's kind of similar to, like, for my art growing up and stuff, I always really liked working in black and white and like black and gray. I like doing a lot of like pencil work and charcoal work and stuff like that, and then anytime I would get near color or paints or anything that I couldn't erase in some way, I'm just like, oh god, it's so permanent. What if I make a mistake? And I think this is kind of similar, which is funny because leather is like insanely more permanent than just painting something with acrylics, like you could just paint over your mistakes. This, if I carve something wrong, like, I feel like a tattoo artist, I gotta figure out how to cover it up somehow. You know, like it's, once I carve it in there, it's carved. So it's, I guess I didn't really realize it till now. Like, it's funny that I talk about the permanence issue when leatherworking is a fairly permanent craft, so. Right. I'm also probably going a lot slower than I usually would because I'm chit-chatting and I'm narrating what I'm doing sometimes. But again, I'm also trying to, like, that's one of the goals of this project again, is to kind of like slow down and just focus on what it is and not like rush through it just to get the finished product. Yeah, this is re-drying out again a bit. When it dries out, it just gets kind of harder to push into the leather and get it to, I guess, accept the, you know, the stamp or card, like whatever you're trying to put into it. It won't go as deeply, so that's why it's important to get it wet. But I guess there's also such a thing as it getting, you like saturating it too much. Do I know what that line is? I'm not sure, but I think with how I'm doing things right now, just with the getting the shirt wet and wiping it down, I think if anything I'm on the side of not getting it wet enough, so I'm not super worried. Which, actually, I'll just show the progress of this so far. Nothing crazy, but I'll show it anyway. If I can figure out how to do this. Also, every time I stand up, I completely blind myself with my light, but that's okay. Here she be. A little rattle down there. Figuring out how to focus. Snake. Okay. So, that's the progress so far. I think that maybe I might... How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna make it look like a snake? I'm just wondering if I should actually like carve the diamonds out, or what I should do with that. I kind of should have thought about this before I started, because now I'm feeling a little stuck. Well, I think I might do a slight overall texture just to get started somewhere, and maybe I'll do the bottom side a little bit darker, because I know this is supposed to be roughly a top view, but we'll still try to add some shading for funsies. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to get the pattern on there. Well, let me get this wet again and I'll think about it. Seems like Jonesy has settled himself down somewhere, which is good. probably sleeping in the room. Not bad. He's a little wonky, but that's okay. I think once I put some texture and stuff on it, it won't be as notable. I wonder, you can't see the eyes from the top, can you? What am I doing? Okay. I'm just gonna do some overall scaly type. Let's just give her some texture and see what happens. Sometimes you just gotta figure it out as you go. So I guess I'll show the stamp that I'm using. This is the stamp I'm using. It's kind of reflecting, so you can't see the texture on it, but it's got a kind of like crisscrossed pattern all over it, so it's a little rough, and it's got this little like teardrop shape. Here she is! Beauty influencer. Oh my god. Everything is reversed and it's throwing me off. Anyway, so I'm just gonna, I think, god, every single time I do it the wrong way. I think I'm just gonna try to do that lightly all over to give it, you know, some sort of, like, I guess roughness, or some sort of texture so that I don't have this super smooth snake, and then I can kind of figure out what I'm doing after that. Yeah, I have a bunch of different ones of these. Some of them are like this rounded, like it's a square on top and then it's rounded at the bottom. And some of them have like a more aggressive crosshatch pattern than some of the other ones. And some of the other ones are pretty, like, tiny. Like that's super tiny. You can't even see it from here. Pretty tiny in comparison. To get into little details and stuff, but I'm just gonna use this one, and I like the kind of teardrop or paired shape because I feel like it's easier for me to do this and not see all of my individual little marks. It's easier to blend out, I feel like. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. I feel like with some of the, like the triangle shaped ones or the square shaped ones, like you can see the edges of it pretty distinctly when you're stamping, and it's kind of hard to like get that out, I guess, depending on how hard you go. But I'm just again gonna do this like pretty lightly because I just want to give him some texture and some like the impression of being a little scaly. Ooh, maybe I might do that. I think I might do that. So on the end of this, you know, it's like a teardrop shape. So maybe, I mean, either end I guess would work, but if I, okay, I think I figured out what I'm gonna do. So since this is a teardrop shape, if I press it into the leather, I guess like this, with that like rocking motion, and I put more pressure on the end part, then you will see that edge like I was talking about that I didn't like using with the other shapes like the squares and stuff. I don't want that hard line, but that actually might be beneficial in this case because I can give, it'll have texture, and then I can give it scales essentially without having to like sit and manually carve everything. So I think I might do that. Okay, see, you know, this is what I'm talking about. We just do some stuff and we try things out, and sometimes you just get a solution, even if you aren't quite there yet. Okay. Yeah. Okay, this is what I wanted. Yes! Okay. Let me get up close and see if I can show you what I'm talking about. I don't know if I can be able to, I'm not sure if I can focus this enough, but we'll see. Okay. See what I mean? Kind of. It'll be more obvious once I do more, but I think that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, obviously I love bighorn sheep. I'm putting one on the other side of this, and I have one literally on my body, so I'm quite literally putting all my favorite things on this case that are, you know, my favorite desert animals and whatnot. Desert is my favorite environment, I guess you could say, so. Ooh, I'm so happy with this. I'm so glad I figured it out. Ooh, that's gonna be nice. That's gonna be real nice. I'm excited. It's so exciting doing projects like this because I'm figuring stuff out that I've never tooled a snake before. I would have never thought, oh, you know, if I use this teardrop shaped shader and put more force on the back of it, it'll make scales. But here I am, and I think a lot of that is due to a lot of these books that I have for leather making. I think I mentioned in the last video that the same person, or I guess couple, that made the book I'm making the case out of, Al and Ann Stolman, do a lot of leatherworking stuff. I think there are a couple that I'm not sure if they're still alive or not, but yeah, they do a lot of leatherworking, made a lot of books. I was just commenting to my husband yesterday when we were at Tandy Leather Supply. They had a bunch of books out, and the one side of the bookshelf was pretty much entirely Al Stolman books, whether it was, you know, pattern books like this, or, you know, whether they were books more like this. Another pattern book. This is all belts, but he's got a bunch of carving stuff in here, and he kind of goes step by step on how to carve out these different, whether it's foliage, or in this case there's animals, and then he tells you which stamps you'll need to get the right textures and how to use them to get, you know, certain effects done. And so I've kind of picked up some of that from these books and trying to use tools in a way that I probably wouldn't have thought of before. So yeah, I'm really happy with this solution that I've thought of for the snake scales, and I'm sure somebody else has done it before, but I haven't seen it, so this came out of my head. I need to get this wet again. It's not it's taking the stamp, but I'm having to put a lot more effort into pressing down in it for the leather to accept it. Yeah, you can't really see the scales from here. It's too far away. It's too far away. Anybody play WoW? Because that's in my head constantly. It's too far away. I can't do that right now. And see, and I guess in this case, I wouldn't... Well, I guess I could hammer this. I would have to hold it at an angle and then hammer it that way, but it would be, I think, maybe a little bit more of an aggressive effect than what I'm trying to go for. So, yeah, let's see. Dude, it is so hot here today. I'm gonna go camping out in the desert this weekend for my birthday, and I'm I'm excited, but I'm like, ooh, it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be hot out there, which we're gonna be going by the river, so maybe that's a good thing and we can actually get in the water, because I feel like usually March is not water time, it's too cold. But, you know, gonna have a change. You can get in the river in March and it'll be okay. Sweating over here doing minimal work. And this leather literally keeps drying out so fast. Which, again, I'm probably not getting it quite as wet as I need it to be, but I'm also not going to get up to my sink every 10 minutes to re-wet this either, so I'm gonna make do. This would also be easier if this was a smaller stamp, because I would be able to get like deeper impressions, but I want this size scale for this snake, so still have to figure out how I'm going to do the diamond back design, but maybe I'll do, I don't know, maybe I'll do a smaller one of these, maybe the same texture but smaller, and just kind of, I don't know, darken up where the diamonds are supposed to be. Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of tricky part. I was struggling with this with the rabbit too, where it's like, how do I add texture to make this look darker, but not darker in like a shadow type way, darker and just like its fur is dark there, you know? Yeah, maybe that's not like super, maybe that doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to me, so. This snake is very long. I'm putting scales down the whole thing. But I've gone too far now to turn back, so I gotta commit. I need to like really press this. My hand's getting tired. Should I be lefty for a minute? Ooh, yeah. Be lefty for a minute. I feel weird holding this in my left hand, but my right hand's kind of tired. Not like, I'm like trying to stay obviously within my lines, but I'm not like super worried if I get a little bit outside of it, because I do plan on trying to do some sort of texture under here to kind of darken the background from the snake so the snake stands out. So I think whatever pattern I do around the snake, it will be, you know, darker and a more aggressive texture than the one I'm doing for the scales, so I ain't too worried about it. Oh god. Okay, almost there. Some things they never tell you about leatherworking is it can get tedious sometimes. But it's like a kind of fun tedious. For the most part. See, I'm trying to just take this tool, roll it, really press this rounded edge into the leather, so that's what shows up as the edge of the scale, but I'm giving the whole thing that kind of rough texture. Check the temperature right now. I feel like it got hotter. Oh, folks, we are up to 87 degrees. An hour ago it was 80 when I started this at 11, and yeah, I think earlier I said that the high today was going to be 89. I lied. Looks like the high today is going to be 92. So we love climate change. This heat is drying out my leather so bad. I'm pretty sure I already sweated through my shirt. Oh, absolutely. I was sweating through my shirt. Just sitting here stamping. Okay. I think I might take this smaller one, and do maybe some of the finer scales up here by the neck and the head. But I'm going to do the pretty big scales along the whole body, and again, just kind of give it some texture. Although maybe I might transition to a little bit smaller down by the tail. Yeah, so as far as the stream goes, yeah, again, I'm still fairly new at this, but, and I have like a rough-ish schedule of when I like to stream, but, I'm just gonna kind of alternate like Mondays and Tuesdays. My husband and I do have every other Monday off together, and I do like spending time with him. Hence why I married him. So yesterday we had the day off together, which is when I had usually been streaming, and I was like, you know, I just like to spend some time with him. So I did that, because as much as I love streaming, this does take a good chunk out of the middle of my day, and yeah, it's fun, but I was like, well, I have Tuesday off and he's working, so I could just as easily do this on Tuesday than do it on Monday. I'm just gonna let this sit here for a second and soak up the water. Oh my god, I'm like debating on turning on the AC, which I never do, because again, I hate the cold, but yeah, it's 87 degrees. Which who knows, because actually on my little weather clock over there it says it's 92 outside and 78 degrees inside, so who knows what the truth is, but either way, it's up there. I might turn the fan on at least and get a little air movement in here. Gotta go to work now. Well, have fun. Hopefully you're not sweating as much as I am right now, but thanks for coming in, and I'm definitely obviously going to be doing more than one of these. This thing is going to take me quite a while to finish, so this ain't the end of this project. And I do record all of these and post them to YouTube. I've actually not like watched my other ones yet. I think mostly just because I do it every week and I'm like, why would I want to watch myself for 3 hours? But I probably should have watched at least a little bit of it just to make sure my like audio and stuff is fine, but I mean, either way, it's an improvement from what it was before, so. Okay, I made it down to the tail. I'm gonna go back and do, I missed some of the neck and head when I was kind of just vaguely. And yeah, luckily when I started this, I just went really light, so it didn't really mess up my pattern or anything. And I can just start up here again and go over what I did, this time with purpose. Also, this project has been sitting on my desk all week, and you know, since I started it last week, and it's been so nice because my desk is like right, like my front door is like right behind me, so when I walk in and I go past my desk, it just smells like leather. And it's a very nice smell, so usually I try to keep my desk somewhat clean and whatever, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave this out. I have nowhere to put this, and kind of good that I did because it smells nice. Oh my god. And this is why tooling in leather is so expensive. You get something in leather and it's got tooling on it, I feel like it's usually a lot more expensive because they sit here and do exactly this. Well, except maybe they hammer stuff, but again, I don't really like to. Although sometimes they do have like, I think they have, when I'm saying they, I don't know who I'm even really talking about, leather companies or whatever, have kind of like those big, you ever seen like those rolling pins for making cookies, and that has like a Christmas design or something on it, and then you just roll it over the cookie dough and it already imprints this nice Christmas pattern on it. I feel like they have that also for leather, and so if they're making a bunch of like tooled belts that all look exactly the same, they'll just, you know, get a big pattern roller and roll the belts through, and there you go. But I feel like you can tell if it's done like that or if it's like hand carved. Yeah, I feel like with the hand carving, like it always looks really nice, but there's definitely like, yeah, I mean there's gonna be imperfections in any handmade piece of art, but that's what makes it nice. Okay, so I guess I'll do a little close-up on what I did for this texture here for the scales. Cause yeah, I know that you guys are kind of far away right there, but I don't really have another better setup right now at the moment, unfortunately, so I'm just gonna have to do this. Watch me work from far away, and then I'll show you what's going on close up later. Until then, but I have my little scales here, and I'll kind of get up and show you that at the moment, and then I think I'm just gonna go back with a smaller texture and do the diamond shape maybe and see how that turns out. I don't know. Okay, see how this goes. Oh, wrong way. Okay, so we got, let me get you a little closer. We got kind of a rough little scaly pattern here, just to give the, just to really sell it to you that it's a snake. So yeah, I still have to do the head, and yeah, I'm gonna go back again with another one of these stamps and try to figure out how I'm gonna do the diamonds. I think I'll do the diamonds in... I'm like wondering if I do it in like an even rougher texture than this, or what. But also I feel like this won't look quite so... It looks different when it dries, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. I was like really hating my jackrabbit last week, and it was still kind of wet when I obviously finished stream, and then by the time my husband came home, he's like, wow, like, that looks amazing, and I'm like, are you kidding me? It looks terrible. And then I saw it dry, and I'm like, oh, you know, actually it doesn't look that bad. So I have to also think about that when I'm tooling, and sometimes I really hate it, and then once it kind of dries and everything kind of settles, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Okay, like, I either know where I need to work on, or, like, you know, it doesn't look, like, as contrasted, I guess, as it does is when it's dry. So, let's see, I think, yeah, I guess I'll go in with a smaller, same crosshatch texture, but maybe do some diamonds, see what happens. Okay. I'm just like prepping myself for it because I don't want to do it. I'm like, I don't know, I'm always so scared of messing projects up, but I'm trying to tell myself this whole thing is a huge project in, one, making a project that obviously I want to make and that I've been looking forward to for a long time, but also like a mental project for myself to just be okay with my art and just make stuff, and if it's not perfect, then that's fine. That's the whole point. This is literally handmade, and like it's not going to be perfect, and can't be too hard on myself. I think I might start further down and just do, I feel like I should do even smaller. Do I have an even smaller textured one of these? Maybe not. I do have a really small one, but it's even more aggressive of a texture, like it's very 3D, which would be good for the background, like he's slithering through some dirt, but, This is also what I spend a lot of the time doing when I'm leatherworking, is just sitting here trying to figure out what I'm doing. But again, that's okay. I think I'm going to, so on the jackrabbit, he's down there facing that way, the ground is there, so I'm also going to make the ground, again, this is going to be kind of, it's a little hard on this one because I made the jackrabbit side profile like he's running away from the snake, but I made the snake more looking top down because it would just be kind of weird to like view a snake chasing something from side view, like it would be pretty flat, so I'm doing it top view down as a stylistic choice, but I also want them to be somewhat cohesive, so I think I'm gonna texture him, or I guess the ground down below a little bit. Yeah, get some shadows going down there, and just that'll give me some time to think about what I'm doing. Which, yeah, there's still, like, I have the rough, you know, like I showed the kind of rough blueprint, I guess, of what designs I want where on this case, which is great, good place to start, but I still have some fairly big decisions to make, like, again, I don't know if I'm going to dye this or not. I also don't know if I'm going to do like landscape in the background, especially like on the jackrabbit, do like a landscapey type background, or if I'm going to do a like patterned background, or do some sort of framing thing and do like flowers or some sort of other foliage on the outside. They do a lot in leatherworking. Kind of make a frame and then do florals around it, or like oak leaves and acorns and whatnot. Which I do really like that, and I kind of wanted to do that, but I think with how I have positioned my animals on the case, I don't think I'll have room to do the carving and a nice like foliage frame. So I think I'm gonna go more landscape. Especially I realized with this snake I got a little close to the edge here. Like I'm still gonna have to sew this at the bottom here, but I have enough room, it'll be fine. But yeah, just not enough room to like carve something else down there. Which again is what I've always been saying on my streams, like when I'm doing leatherworking, is you have to like, you just really have to think about the like process of how to do leatherworking, I guess. Like you have to think multiple steps ahead, or even the whole project ahead, and make sure that you're not going to kind of shoot yourself in the foot later down the line by a step you're doing now. Like, yeah, if I decided to start sewing this whole thing up, that would be great, but I wouldn't be able to carve this or stamp it. I mean, if I could, it would be a lot more difficult than if I left it all flat and I'm working on it like I am now. So just little stuff like that, or you know, like even the book that I got this pattern out of mentions it a few times, like, hey, if you're gonna do this, like I think if you're gonna line it with something, like if you're gonna put another, I don't know, some other sort of liner on the inside of this case, like do that before you sew the zipper on, because if you sew the zipper on, this is gonna be, you know, kind of closed at the end, and it's gonna be, it's just easier to do certain steps before other ones. So and that's the case with this carving too, is like trying to, like what I was doing earlier, is trying to figure out where I want this to be, so that when I'm done with this, it's not going to interfere with, like, say, where the handle's going to go later, or, you know, it's a good thing I didn't go all the way to the edge, because I'd have to sew through it, which, again, isn't the end of the world, but it'd be nicer if it was a little higher up. Or, you know, I could have gone across both ways and just had a snake go across this whole area and done this, but then I wouldn't have my cool Ocotillo here, so you just gotta think about kind of the whole project in advance, which, you know, it's nice because you have kind of like a roadmap of what you're getting into, but sometimes you're like, dude, I just want to like do this step and move on, but you can't, because you gotta do X, Y, and Z before you get there. And sometimes X, Y, and Z aren't very fun steps, so yeah, but I'm, again, being like pretty slow about this, because, I mean, it is also big carving. How big is this? It's like, yeah, 20 inches right here of tooling that I'm doing, so going slow because I'm talking, but it's also, you know, this is definitely the biggest thing I've ever tooled, I'm realizing right now, but and that also kind of like adds another layer to it, like how detailed do I get in this, because I do have, like, you know, a lot more surface area to work with. It's a lot bigger of a carving, so the details I do put in there are going to be, you know, fairly noticeable. Whereas like a lot of my other smaller things, like you can kind of get away with some stuff because it's just a small little design on a wallet or something that I mean, it's like the same thing with painting or with art or something, right? Like the bigger you make your painting or the more close up you get to it, the more detail you have to add, and the less you can kind of get away with. So I think that's what is making this project somewhat nerve-wracking is I guess just how big the project is and how detailed this carving could be or could get. I'm just gonna go for it. I am going to take, are these the same size? Yeah, are these the same tool? 217 and then P 217. Okay, I don't know what the P is for, if that's any difference, but whatever, they look like the same thing, so I'm just gonna go for it. And I'm going to start doing some diamonds, I guess. I think I'm gonna start on this little fat part of his body. So diamonds go, yeah, okay. I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm just gonna figure it out as I go. You can't see that? Okay. I do want to try to figure out how to do a camera setup so that you guys can maybe see what I'm carving as I'm carving it. Oh, that'll work. That'll be nice. Okay. See, I just had to like get into it and it was fine. Who knew leatherworking was such a mental game, you know? Okay. Beautiful. Alright, I'm going to show a little close up just so you can see what I'm working on. So I've done, Jesus, I have such a hard time getting up close. Here we go. I've done 2 diamonds here and here. I will probably still go back and make those a little darker, but yeah, that's what I've done so far, that I'm like, ooh, yeah, that's gonna work. That'll be nice. And then I think I'll do the same kind of thing at the end of the tail when it gets to that little stripey, it gets to like a black and white stripey part towards the end of the tail. Am I in focus? I think I am. Crack my elbows. Okay. I like it. I like where this is going. I'm happy. Yeah, I definitely have to darken that up because I can see as it's drying, it's not very apparent. So that is one thing that I've struggled with a bit, is making my designs dark enough, because they look dark when you do it on wet leather and then they dry and you're like, where did everything go? So yeah, if you're not stamping hard enough, it ain't gonna show up. I feel like sometimes too, like I've had it on my wallets and stuff, or like I made a belt that it was out of thinner leather than this, but I stamped this whole scene onto the back of a belt and it looked great, and then I started wearing it, and then like I feel like with wear, I feel like everything kind of like flattened out a bit. I lost some of those super fine little details that I put in because I just didn't stamp hard enough, And so the design, I still like the design a lot, but yeah, I just lost a lot of the shading and stuff that that I initially did, which I still really like that belt. I got it again out of one of these books from Al Stolman, and it was designed to be like a lady's belt or something. So instead of just having a flat rectangle all the way around, it was flat on top. Then it went kind of like down into a V, so that the V would be at your back. And I think it's supposed to be more feminine or whatever. And I liked the design, which is great. Except you can't fit that middle part through belt loop, so I have to kind of like loop my belt starting from the middle back and then loop both ends around, which was good that I used a small buckle because I have to fit the buckle also through my belt loops. But yeah, I did it out of a kind of maybe a little bit too thin of a leather for a belt. So I have thought about maybe taking another piece, maybe of the same width, and like lining it, I guess, with another thicker piece, and then I would add like a stitch line around it, which wouldn't be bad. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I did also put bighorn sheep on that one as well. So I think I put bighorn sheep, I put like a coyote, I put some cactuses, I put a lot of stuff on that belt. It was a little scene. I really liked it. And I like wearing it, and I made it like, I wanted to do a ranger style belt, which is like instead of just having like the end of your belt and your belt buckle, and that's what loops together. I don't even know how to describe it. Like you have another piece sewn on, so you have like your two belt ends that you like have behind each other, and then you have like the other smaller pieces sitting on top, and that's what buckles together. It's really hard to explain. Like it would just be better if I showed a picture of it, but I really liked that belt buckle style, and I obviously had never made one before, so yeah, it was kind of like a little little challenge for me, and it was really weird to try to like measure. It was difficult to try to like measure how long my belt should be with that buckle type, but I don't know. It was a fun project, and I definitely want to make another one either for myself or like improve the one that I have. And I do always like trying to do new projects. Why are these shaped like this? Why am I making them like teardrop shapes? Need to be diamond. I'm kind of sad I have yet to see a rattlesnake this year, even though it's been stupid hot. I love rattlesnakes, as venomous as they are. And yes, I'm one of those people that's like a stickler for using the word venomous versus poisonous. Rattlesnakes are venomous, not poisonous. Poisonous is if you eat it and you die. So like a mushroom is poisonous, or if you eat a poison toad or whatever. It's venomous if it bites you or injects you with something and then you die, or get sick or whatever. So you can eat a rattlesnake and be fine, so it's not poisonous, but it can bite you and inject venom, so it is venomous. You'll never get it wrong again. So, yeah, that's one of my things, but just trying to get these diamonds. I'm realizing the snake is just a very tedious animal to tool. Which, you know, would it be beneficial if I hammered all this? I don't know, but I also just hate the sound of hammering all the time, and I'm sure it probably also would be great for stream. I did it a bit last time, but I just again, I'm not a big fan. Ooh, you can kind of even see it from there. See, we're getting somewhere. Getting a little diamondback. Ooh, I'm excited. Okay. And then is it? Yeah, it's like black up against the tail. Also, sometimes it's just easier for me to like work on certain parts that I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what I'm gonna do for this, and then come back to the more difficult parts that I'm not quite sure what I'm doing yet. You know, like I did for the background and stuff to try to figure out what I'm gonna do for the scales and whatnot, but got stuff under my desk that's falling on me. Okay. Doing some little stripies. Oh yeah, you can see those. Little stripies at the end of the tail. Probably do one more. Oh, look at that, look at that! Ooh! Yeah, I gotta do this one. I gotta do some of these a little harder. I just need to get this like soaking wet. The heat is not helping at all. Although I'm sure my sourdough is having a great time right now. Usually before stream, I like feed my sourdough the night before, and then morning of stream, because I don't do this till like 11 a.m. And so I wake up at 5. Yeah, I wake up at 5 with my husband, and he goes to work, and then I start making my sourdough bread, and that takes a while to do all the stretching and folding and doing all the bread stuff. So I do that, and then by the time I'm finished with that, it's about ready time for me to come on here and do some leatherworking, so it all works out, and then just throw it in the fridge overnight and bake it the next morning. So tomorrow I will have some bread, which I feel bad because I didn't have enough starter this morning. I usually make 2 loaves of bread, and I didn't have enough starter this morning. I only had enough to make 1 for some reason, and had to like scrape my jar out, so I had to like get my little emergency jar from the freezer so I can have something still. So he's just hanging out, feeding. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with how this is coming along so far. I was like so nervous about it for so long. I'm gonna turn this. It's just easier if I work on it this way, and then I always turn it the other way. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Except now I'm getting like the leather creaking, but it's okay. It's a kind of nice noise. Little rattlesnake coming along nice. I'm happy. Okay, and then it gets like weird up in the neck, so I'll do like another 2 diamonds I think here, 2 or 3 diamonds, and then it gets like really small up here, and then it stops right before the head. And he's kind of got like 2 dark patches above the eyes, and then like the end of the nose is a little dark, and then he's got a dark tongue. And then I still have some diamonds to do at the end of the tail. Okay, let's see. Crack my fingers a bit because they're hurting. Gotta make these like darker, because on the snake the diamonds are like really dark brown or black essentially, so I do have to kind of darken it up, and then maybe add like a few dark marks here and there on the side. Because they have, yeah, I feel like they have the diamonds on the top, and then sometimes it looks like they have more diamonds coming up over the side. So I think I might do that too. Heat is like making me tired. Yeah, I cannot imagine it like snowing right now. Focus time right now. I'm just like, all right, let's get these diamonds out of the way. Okay. Feels really nice too. Like I can feel all the texture. And I feel like that's my kind of indication on how well I'm stamping, is how much I can feel it. I don't know if you've ever felt tools leather before, but you can tend to really feel a lot of you can feel every design and texture in there. And so I feel like if I run my hand across it and it still feels fairly smooth, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I stamped enough. Oh my god. I don't think I really stamped enough, but which I'm kind of getting that here. I definitely probably maybe should go back and like stamp some more of this down, but we'll also see once it dries how much it took. Okay, I'm gonna do, I think, a diamond here, and then get like really small. Okay. God, this leather keeps drying out so bad. Let it soak for a minute. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do this next week or not. Might take a break from it for a week, and I really want to do some insect pinning. It's been a while since I've pinned any insects, and I have a little container of them I need to do, and I think I said it on last video too, that I have my 2 mice that I did a few streams ago, that I did a pair of mice and they're kissing, and I want to put them in a glass dome, so I think I'll pin some insects and finish up the mice. I might do that next week. We'll see. I'm just trying not to like burn myself out on any one project, so this project's been really fun, but I also don't want to like lose stamina on it and be like, God, I have to work on this again. And then, you know, I'll get to the point like I was saying where I'm just like, I just want to get this done with, and then I like kind of cut off my carvings too soon and just start putting it together because I want the project to be done with, because I've been working on it for so long. I'm tired of looking at it. So I obviously don't want to do that, so I think if I sprinkle in other stuff, it'll, oh my god, it'll maintain my excitement for this project. Which, I am excited for this project. It's been something that I've been thinking about doing for a long time. I've had this 410 for, I want to say, God, it's gonna be going on like 15 years now or something. I've had this gun. I think I got it when I was like a freshman in high school, and I graduated almost 11 years ago now. So yeah, I think I'm going on like 15 years that I've had this. And it's been in that same case, so I've been wanting to make a nice leather case for it for a while, and I just haven't gotten the gumption to do it yet. I also just wanted to do other projects and get more experience and stuff before I dove into some massive leather gun case, but okay, so I've gotten, ooh, you can even see that from there, very cool. Okay, got some diamonds going down. I still have to do the section from here to here. Probably do a few more diamonds here. I might do another stripe here, and yeah, and then I'll go back. I might let it dry a little bit, which obviously won't take very long, and see how it looks when it's dry, and I might work on the head while the body's drying, just to see where I need to add more. Yeah, okay. Let's do, I need to get this wet down here because it's like completely dry. Man. I'm surprised my other cat hasn't started crying. I'm pretty sure I let him out before I started this. And usually he's a big crybaby and doesn't want to be outside for very long. And he's outside for like 5 minutes and then he starts screaming to get let in. And I think he might just be hanging out outside and enjoying the warmth apparently. My other cat loves to be outside, Oreo, and he's currently in our yard just absolutely lounging underneath the bush. And yeah, I wouldn't say he hates being inside, but he just, if he had his way, he'd be outside laying under that bush all day every day. Which, it was kind of nice when we had our like 2 seconds of winter here and he would come inside during nighttime and stuff because it was cold outside and he wanted cuddles, and I was like, oh my god, finally. But it's summertime and he just wants to be outside, soak up the sun, so I let him. My hands get cramped up doing this. I realize how much tooling this snake would involve. And then I think I have to, I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do with the rattle too, because I want to try to do something to kind of make that not so flat. I think I might take that same smooth tool that I used to initially go around the outside and maybe go around each, or like around the, how would I do that? Around the top of each rattle maybe, so that it looks like the one next to it is on top kind of. I don't know. It makes sense in my head. I think I'll do that. Sometimes explaining the designs doesn't work very well. I just gotta do it and show it. I still have to figure out a design for the shoulder strap. Because again, this is gonna have a shoulder strap on it, and I don't want it to be just plain. If I'm tooling the rest of this thing, I might as well tool the shoulder strap. So initially I was going to do, I do really like in leather when they do the like oak leaves and the acorns and stuff, but I do have a little template for that where I could repeat it pretty easily, and it would be nice, but it wouldn't quite fit in with the theme of this because it's a lot more kind of deserty animals. I'm not saying there's like not oaks, but I guess kind of more, I guess that'll be kind of a little more oak woodland chaparral type thing, which you could find some of these animals in, but I'm going more for desert, especially with Ocotillo. So I gotta figure out, yeah, what do, ooh, maybe I could do like a little, okay, I think I have an idea. What if, on the shoulder strap, I don't know how long it's gonna be, what if I carve little jumping kangaroo mice jumping down the strap? Sold. I'm doing it. I've made up my mind. Have I just sold myself into a design that's going to be way more work than it's probably worth? Absolutely. But I think it'll be cute. I love little kangaroo mice. Every time I go camping out in the desert, they come out at night and hang around our campfire and try to steal our marshmallows, which is very cute. And I love their little tails, all tufted. Oh my god, okay, I have like one more diamond to do. My thumb is killing. Okay, Lord have mercy. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, okay, look at that. We got our little diamonds on her. Him, they, them. I don't think you can really tell with the snakes unless you like get up in there, but so she can be whatever I want her to be. Jesus Christ, okay. And luckily you can pretty much see this without me having to get up and show you. Because I'm tired. Okay, I'm gonna let the body dry. I'm gonna wait for this trash truck to drive down my street. Okay. I swear we have trash trucks like every single day in my neighborhood after they've messed with our weird trash service, and everyone's on a different trash service now, and every trash service has a different day. It's like every single day there's a trash truck dumping trash and a new street with trash cans in the middle of the road. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. I'm gonna let this dry and I'm gonna work on his little head and maybe his little tail, and then I'll see how this turns out. It's definitely gonna lighten up obviously when it dries, so we'll see how much contrast is really there after she dries down. Let's see, can you tell on the back? No. Yeah, it's already drying up, so I think I'm gonna do the tail really quick because I think that'll be fairly straightforward and easy peasy. Get it wet. And then I'm going to, I think, do this. I'm gonna do this under here to look like, you know, I don't even know if this is gonna do anything, but we'll see. I'm kind of pushing the leather down. So this tool, I guess I should explain this. This tool has no texture, it's smooth, and it's angled, like a little wedge, so there's kind of a point down here and I kind of put that point in my line that I've carved with my swivel knife, and I press down below it so that it kind of, everything past that line pops up and everything before that line gets pushed down. And that's what I did kind of around the border of the snake, so that the border gets pushed down while the snake gets left up. Yeah, so I'm trying to do that with each rattle, so it's, I guess, raised up in the back and then pushed down toward the tip, so that it looks like each rattle is kind of, I guess, nesting in the other one. Whether or not that'll really like translate, I don't know, but that's what I'm going for anyway, so we'll see what happens. And then I think I might do a little bit, because there's the crease here that goes down the middle, and I think I might do that on both sides so that it looks like it is like creased in there in the middle. And now there's like a helicopter flying over. Lovely. Gorgeous. Well, it did something. And then I'm going to do some texture along the bottom so that the rattle stands out from the background. And I did this pretty heavy texture down here with this, so I'm gonna continue that. And luckily this tool is pretty small, so I can get in the little kind of nooks and crannies here in between every rattle. Okay, I think I might zoom in and show that. Maybe I'll let it dry a little bit. We'll see. I'm like getting, I feel like I'm in school, I'm getting a callus on my finger where I'd always hold my pencil. Because these have definitely a textured metal grip on them. Which is good, but yeah, I'm definitely getting that callus right there. Ooh, flashbacks. Okay. Let's get up close and personal. Oh my god, I was like sitting on my foot and now my leg's asleep. Gotta shake it out. Okay. Oh my lord, dude. Okay. There is the rattle. So this is the bottom, I guess like what would be the ground, which I might just do it on both sides since again this is like a top-down view, but I just did it on the one side for now, and then I tried to like push the, yeah, I think you can kind of tell, I tried to push the one rattle kind of under the other all the way down, and then we got our little diamonds going all the way up. My leg is tingling now, the feeling's coming back. Ooh, it hurts. Okay, I'm just gonna sit down again. Yowza, okay. My foot fell asleep so hard right now. Old lefty's hurting. The tingles. So yeah, there she is so far. I'm so nervous to do the head, just because it's like the focal point, right, of the snake. So, I mean, I had the same issue last week with the rabbit. I was like so nervous to do the face, or especially the eye, because I feel like if you mess up the eye on any animal, it just is, it's so glaringly obvious, and you're like, ooh, that would look great, except the eye is like not looking at me, or not, you know, like not where it's supposed to be. So I guess luckily for this, I don't think I really have to worry about the eyes. I have my reference picture here. I'm gonna try to like somewhat zoom in, although it's not like a great picture. I don't know if you can see the eyes on the top of the head. Let me do some research. Let's see. So I'm gonna do Southern Pacific rattlesnake, top-down view. Let's see if that gets me. Okay, let's go images. I don't think you can really see the eyes from the top of the head. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, not really, because they kind of have like a, I don't want to say an eyebrow, but like what an eyebrow would look like, I guess. I might do a little shading. Yeah. Sorry, I'm like just trying to think out loud and process how I'm gonna do this. Okay, this one's good. I like this. So the picture I'm using right now for reference, just to use for the shape of the snake and the diamonds and whatnot, I have up on my computer, but it's not a super clear picture. I just looked up this picture, which you probably can't tell right away, but so that's the head, and then goes down to the body, and you can kind of see like where the eyes should be. They're just kind of like, I guess, where the eyelids are, so you can't really see the eyes, but you can see like the curves of where the tops of the eyelids are, and so I think I'll do that just so you have the impression that they're eyes. But you know, it obviously doesn't have eyes on the top of his head, so I'm not going to give it that. Alright. Okay. So, this is drying nicely. I do have, I don't know if you can tell from there, probably not. I do have an extra line here on the side, like right here, and there's a little bit kind of going along the whole side here and a little bit here where I went off of my initial kind of tracing and the little impression that I made. So yeah, the faint lines that I do in the beginning, they aren't temporary, they are kind of, I mean, it's there. I made a dent in the leather, but again, I do kind of plan on doing more texture around both sides, so that should cover up no problem. But just something to note, I guess. And alright, it is 1 o'clock, so I'm gonna do this for another like hour and then clock out, but I think I can make some good progress within the next hour on this snake and get I don't know about finished, but pretty close to there, I think. And then I'll show the whole, oh actually I'm liking that. I don't know if I can show the whole thing on camera right now, but we got the snake down here, and we got the rabbit. That's gonna be nice. That's gonna be real nice. Okay. I don't know why I'm sitting like so far over. Okay. I need a little Coors Light on this hot day. Okay. Time to do the top of the head. What I've been avoiding this whole time. yeah, I think I'm gonna do some insect pinning next week. I think I have really been enjoying this project. Yeah, I just want to take a minute from it and think about how I'm gonna do. I think the bighorn sheep should be okay. It should be fairly straightforward, but I gotta think about how to do the ocotillo on this side, because the ocotillo, I chose it, one, because it's like, it's my favorite plant, just, that's it, but, and it's a very tall plant, so it will be good going this way, but it's also fairly, I don't know, scraggly and kind of goes everywhere, so unless I do a smaller, narrower one, or unless I do it, well, no, I don't want to do it upside down, because I could do the base here and it goes up this way, but that wouldn't work, so I gotta figure out how to do that, but I'm gonna do the head now. Yeah, that's looking pretty decent dry, or I guess starting to get, it's still a little wet here. Is that? Yeah, still a little wet, but, and so is the tail, but it's starting to look like a snake. I'm gonna pull up my little reference picture on my phone here. Zoom in on his little head so I know where to kind of put his eyelids, I guess you could say. Okay, like just trying to figure out how I want to do this, because like there's no real sketching to be done on leather, you just kind of go for it. Okay, so I go mostly here, I do like this. Oh, I'm nervous it's gonna look like just his eyes now, but it would also help if I made his eyes equal each other and not all messed up, but that's okay. Okay. And then I'm gonna do some little nostrils down there, which I do have a stamp here that's just a perfect circle, but I don't think I want to do that. I think that'll look too perfect, I guess you could say. Like it'll look too out of, I don't want to say out of character, it's like out of place. There you go. Man, it's insane how much I struggle for words on these things sometimes. I'm trying to figure out, the main thing I'm looking for right now is trying to figure out what tool to use to get what I want done. And I'm like debating if I want to carve where his eyes should be. Like, I don't know if you can't even see. Yeah, you can kind of see. So like, where am I looking at? This would be one eyelid here, and there's like another eyelid over there, and that's what I'm trying to like subtly convey on my leather. Or I could just go for it. Okay. And then I definitely want to shade like back here, because I feel like their heads are very wide in comparison to their little necks. They have that typical venomous shape. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do like I did for the rest of the body, and I'm just gonna start putting little scales on his head and see where that gets me. build some confidence, you know? Yep, those are the same. Okay. Although I think I might want to do even tinier scales on the head. This one's really tiny in comparison to the ones I used by the tail, and then the big ones that I use all over the body. So those are pretty different in size, but it is the head, so they do have some teeny tiny little scales. So I'm just gonna do this, see what happens. Okay. Turning out okay so far, I think. I'm nervous that they're a little too small, but maybe I'll transition to the medium-sized ones toward the back of the head. This is like drying out yet again. Okay. It's okay. This is my own gun case with my favorite things on it, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Because even with stuff that I make, that even if I don't like it a ton, every time people see it, stuff that I make, you know, like my purse or wallet or my, you know, watch strap or whatever, even if I'm not super happy with it, every time people see it, they go, oh wow, I really like this thing, and I go, oh thank you, I made it, and then they go, oh my god, no way, and then just kind of reassures that it's fine and nobody's gonna notice my dumb little mistakes that only I'm gonna notice because I was the one doing every single little, you know, stupid scale on this snake's body. Nobody notices all the little things that you think they're gonna notice, which is a good thing. I mean, it's like life in general, right? Like, nobody notices or thinks about you as much as you think they're going to. You get so, like, nervous about appearance or whatever, and it's like, dude, nobody's looking. Nobody cares. I have to apply that to my art as well. It's okay. Okay, I have to crack my wrist. Okay. There's like a little bit of an eye visible. That was stressful, but I had to just go for it. I ended up carving in. Okay, I like that. I like that. I'm glad I did it. See? I literally just have to stop thinking about stuff so much. It's really not that bad. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't even think you can see that. I'll show it later. Once I kind of tool it some more, but I decided to carve the little like the eyebrow and eyelid, and then you can see like just a little bit of the eye coming out from the eyelid. So I did carved a line, and then I did a little bit of an eye, and then I did like the top of the eyelid. So gonna say up front they're not super symmetrical, but what creature is, you know? No, it's fine. So I'm going to do, I think, some little nostrils, because they are little pit vipers. So figure out how to do that. I think I'll do a smooth, yes, this one right here. So this is the same essentially tool that I was using for the scales, but instead of having that crosshatch pattern on it, it is totally smooth. So I think I'll just do some nostril indentations there. Yeah. Okay. Then I'm going to take my other smooth, my angled one, and maybe go under the eyelids a bit just to show that it's, she's 3D, you know? Okay. Okay. Alright. So, as this is drying, I think you could probably tell from there, perhaps. Yeah, you can. I did fairly okay down here, and then some of these ones, especially down in here, especially here, those diamonds really get lost. So I'm going to have to get this wet and go over some of these diamonds again that are pretty faint. Some of these down here are pretty good though and stand out. And then I'm going to do the other side with that rough texture, because it's kind of weird and throwing me off that I only did one side. And it's like a top-down view, so I'm going to do that. I'm pretty happy so far with how things are going. Stretch break. Oh my god. Muscles cramping. Alright, let's see. Alright, well, we've gotten there. It's 92 degrees. Here we are. I was gonna say just vibing, but I'm not vibing right now. He's hot. Dry hot is okay, but this is, well, it's not too bad. It's a little bit humid. What is the humidity anyway? On this fine March day. Does it say? Humidity is 21%. Which ain't terrible, I don't think, but okay. What am I gonna do next? I am going to try to get this whole thing wet again. I'm going to touch up these diamonds, especially these ones right here in this curve, and I'm going to do a rough texture around the other side here. I was gonna say I'm not super happy with the head right now, but again, it's wet. I will see how it looks when it's dry and make my decision then, if I want to change anything. I think I'm just not happy with how the scales look, but I think it just looks different because it's, again, it's wet still. So I'm going to get this a little wet again. And that's the thing too, is I think if I were to dye this, I don't think I'm going to like paint it, like make this a different color than the background and do all that. I think I'm just going to do everything one solid color, so whatever I do, if I do decide to dye this, has to be, I guess, translated monotone, you know? Like, can't be dependent on painting this guy a bunch of different colors. And same goes for the other, all the other animals that I'm gonna do, and plants. Where is the tool I'm looking for? This one. I literally got this guy out so that I can put all the tools that I'm currently using here and not have to look for them all the time. So I can see all of the heads and just pick out the one I need and not sift through them on the table. And yet here I am, sifting through them on the table. Is that everything? Nope, I got the big one. Yeah, so I have a bunch of these set out right now. I have this one that is usually empty, so these are all of the stamps and stuff that I have used thus far, whether it was in the jackrabbit or whether it's in the snake. These are all the ones I've used up to this point. And then I have 3 like blocks like this full of even more patterns and stuff. I have these 2 here, and then I have a white one back here, like the black one. So I have a lot to choose from, so sometimes I'm trying to figure out like what what texture I want to do, or like how am I gonna like, okay, how am I gonna put scales on this snake? I have to kind of sit here and look at all these and figure out like, okay, what pattern can I try to make work, you know? And there's a couple that I probably could have done too. I have some of these kind of like half moon ones that definitely could have done good scales, but it would have been a little more decorative, I think. And then some of them are just straight like designs. Like I had this acorn. I don't even know if you can see that. I have just a big acorn, you know. Which those are fun. I like my little lizard guy. And I just bought, yesterday when I was at the leather store, I bought a Zia for my tattoo. I bought a Zia stamp. Don't know what I'm gonna use it on, but I saw it and I was like, well, I gotta do it. So I did. But I'll find a place for that because it doesn't have a handle. Jesus. So I could just interchange handles and stamps on these guys, luckily. Oh, and that's the thing too I didn't even think about is I have my own stamp to put on here. My Vulture Leatherworking stamp that I have to figure out a place to put that. I think I might do it maybe somewhere down here by the handle, in a little inconspicuous spot, or maybe like on the handle where I have the big brand or the vulture. Ooh, I could do it on the vulture side too, because that would obviously make sense. Just do a little Vulture Leatherworking next to the vulture. That's not super important right now, but I do want to try to have that brand piece cut out too, maybe before next time, so I can see how it's going to lay out. I'm a little nervous because the brand is fairly large, and I think I'm nervous about it not fitting where I need this handle to go. I think if anything it might just come over on the other side, which is fine because I'm just going to do the vulture head down here. I don't need a ton of space for that, but we'll see. And I think if I do dye anything, I might want to dye that handle piece because I think it would make the brand stand out a little more, maybe. I think there's a way I could do it where it would make, where it makes the brand more obvious. And I think that's actually how they have it in this book too. Well, they kind of have it the opposite. I think they dyed this and left this a lighter color or whatever, but so maybe I'll do that but opposite and do this a darker color on the handle part. But it's kind of fun too because this handle part you can kind of cut out to be whatever shape you want it to be. Like I could do a just total rectangle, or I could do a fun little border on it. But yeah, I gotta figure out that because the brand on the hide is also laying pretty close to the edge of the leather, which is fine because I don't need it much after that, but I only have so much area to work within, I guess. I cannot stop yawning. Okay. Stop procrastinating. My leather dried out again while I was talking about nothing. I wet my leather, and then I got off topic, and it dried out before I could even get to it. That sounds about right. But it's fine. I like showing people my hobbies, because I do have odd ones. Whether it's leatherworking or taxidermy, I feel like they're not the most common hobbies, you know? So I just like talking about them, and whether people just want to watch for entertainment or to actually learn how to do it themselves, I mean, either way, I'm fine with it. I always think it's kind of cool to see the process of making certain things like this that, you know, maybe you have, or maybe you haven't thought of, like, you know, how some of these things are made. And you just see a nice leather purse and you're like, wow, that's great. But there is a whole process behind it, you know? Yeah. It'll be an interesting stream when I finally get to putting this thing together, and I gotta figure out what I'm doing. Because this, I mean, yeah, the carving can be a little intimidating. Like, it's art. There's, like, you know, subjectivity to it and whatever, but I also, you know, it's a known quantity more or less. Like, I've tooled leather before. Sure, maybe I've not tooled these specific animals in this scale, but it's, you know, it's something I've still somewhat done before, but there's a lot of steps on this that I have never done before in terms of making the actual case. So that's going to be interesting. I'm not really worried about, like, putting on the handle or putting on like the shoulder strap or anything. I think, or like even sewing it up, really. I think the zipper is going to be interesting for me to try to figure out, and then I have to read over it again, but there was something weird about, like, you put the zipper in, and then along this bottom part, when it's folded up, you put your little thin strips of leather kind of stacked up till they get to a certain height down here, and then I think you kind of sandwich in your leather that's going to hold your D-rings for your shoulder strap, and I think that's the purpose for it. But, like, that's going to be an interesting process to try to figure out. And then it's going to be a lot of leather to sew through. I think even in the book, I might have been on the zipper section, but it was like, if you have a leather sewing machine, you should use it now. And I'm like, well, like, yeah, I kind of have one, but it's not with me currently, and I've never used it before, so I don't think I would, you know, use it for the first time on this huge project that I'm, like, you know, pretty attached to. I'd want to, like, practice with it first on some scraps and stuff, and maybe on a, you know, lower impact project. But yeah, I'm gonna be hand sewing this thing, so that's gonna be some work. I'm definitely gonna have to use the stitching pony for this, I think, because this is a lot of leather to try to hold, like, configure somehow to get it straight for sewing. And it's gonna be thick, so I'm gonna have to use the little tool my husband bought me. He got me, I figured out what it was. Or at least I thought I did. Oh yeah, here it is. My husband got me this, which I'm gonna have to use this for this project because I'm gonna be sewing through a lot of leather. And so when you're sewing, this kind of has a bunch of little divots in it. So you get your needle set in your leather, and then you can push the end of the blunt end of the needle, like through with the base of your palm, through all the pieces of leather, so that you're not killing your fingers, which I'm very excited about because I've definitely sewn a lot of projects that were way thicker than I should have been hand sewing with, and my hands were hurting by the end of it, so I'm excited to get to use that for this project eventually. See how that works. Yeah, I've had to like sit there with pliers and like trying to grab the needle and like pull it through 4 or 5 layers of leather, and I'm like, okay, you know, I got a little ways to go still. Alright, so I'm just doing, yeah, I'm not super happy with how thick I made the snake right here, but again, it is what it is. Gosh, okay. Go around all of the, might have to put this over here. Go around all of the little rattles. There you go. Apparently, rattlesnakes, like a rattlesnake's rattle, glows under black light or UV light. Do we know why? I don't think so, but they just do. And I guess a lot of animals apparently glow under black light. Do we know why? Not really, but they just kind of do. Okay. I think that made it look a little better. I like that. Beautiful. Beautiful skirt. Okay. Put this back on this rack. And going to touch up these diamonds here like I said I was going to. And I keep getting sidetracked. But I'm really happy with how this case is turning out so far, so that's good. We love. Which one did I use? I used this one. Where is that one? Oh, okay. That one's very small. Touch up these diamonds, make them a little more apparent. Make them stand out a bit more. There we go. I can feel some stuff now. We're getting there. too bad. We're, what, 2.5 hours in? We got the majority of the snake done. Obviously still needs some, you know, touch-ups and whatnot, but we went from having no snake at all to now we got this guy with the rattle and scales and little head. Ow, okay. It's a little better. You can see them now. I think I might, let's see. I might touch up some of these still some more. I'm still gonna wait for that head to dry to see what else I want to do on it. But I'm getting pretty happy with this so far. I'm just like touching it to see where it feels. Yeah, like see now these feel nice and deep. And these feel pretty good. That feel, ooh, I like the rattle, that feels nice. These feel good. I think these in here could use some work. So I'll get this wet. That's been kind of my new test, is like, can I feel the design? Yeah, this could definitely be deeper. Looking pretty decent now. Okay. Cool. My fingers are like cramping up a bit. Shake it out. Okay, let me do a little show and tell. Here's my snake. Wow, you can see all the diamonds. Here's my rabbit. He's chasing it. We got people outside just doing stuff. Okay. Yeah, I think those still maybe need a little bit more. These ones feel nice and deep down here. And I really like the tail. These ones are getting good. I gotta just wait till it dries and see how it looks. So, yeah. I'm gonna try to think about how I'm gonna do this ocotillo down here. I might probably do the same thing that I did with the snake, and I will take some tracing paper and kind of outline like the area that I'm working with, and then try to draw something that'll fit in there. Yeah, because ocotillos tend to be kind of narrow at the bottom and then they get bigger up top, which this is kind of the opposite of that, but I'll think about it. I might work on the bighorn sheep next time I pull this out, just to get that started, and then yeah, I might come back to these other two guys down here and work on them a bit more. Like, I'm gonna get this rough pattern on the outside. I just did a pretty solid line across, and I think I want to, you know, obviously do more of that, and then also like kind of fade it out, so it's darkest up by the body, and then you get kind of more dispersed speckling further out. So I think I'll do that, and then I'm debating if I want to do the same with the rabbit, because I don't know if you can see from here. Yeah, you can. I did a line down here for where the ground would be. Yeah, because he's got the 1 foot on the ground and everything else is above it, so I wanted to make sure I added the ground on there to kind of like place him. So I might just do some like landscaping in the back and do some like little faraway, you know, mountains and whatnot. I gotta figure it out, because this is a weird one to work with, because he's very close up. I gotta figure out what I'll do for the background on this one. I gotta think about it. Yeah, and then this, if you weren't here last time, this right here is just a natural scuff or scar or whatever that was on the hide, and it just kind of lined up with the rabbit, which I don't mind. Again, I like all the scarring and stuff, so it doesn't bother me. Yeah, I'm definitely like pretty happy with where this guy's at, but I do want to add more detail to him. He's still fairly smooth, so I just want to make him look a little fuzzier, I guess, which I did on certain parts, but I could definitely do it more and just go harder with some of the texture and stuff. And yeah, because he's pretty light, and I'm nervous. Oh, dude, this heat is killing me. It's making me yawn. Yeah, I think I'm just nervous that the same thing's gonna happen like it did with my belt, where over time I'll kind of lose some of these like really faint, like I can't even feel like this dark patch up here. I can't even really feel that like a teeny bit. It's a little indented, but I could definitely do more on this. But I also don't want to, like, you know, push it too far and then I take it somewhere where it's like, well, I should have stopped like an hour ago, but I kept going. So yeah, but fairly happy with the rabbit. Pretty happy with the snake so far. Let's see. Yeah. Ooh. The ones up by the neck feel nice and like deep. Diamonds up here. These feel okay. I need to maybe touch up these ones, and then the back ones feel pretty good. I just like want this. I want the head to dry so I can look at the head and I can work on it more. And then I guess I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with the tongue, because I just kind of carved a Y out, and I don't know. Yes, I think next week I might come on. I think next week I'll come on a Monday, maybe. Although I'm gonna go camping for my birthday this weekend, so we'll see how I feel on Monday. But I'm gonna try to go for Monday, and I'm gonna try to do insect pinning and finishing up my mouse taxidermy, and see how far that gets us in 2-3 hours, and maybe throw some other stuff in there. But yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm trying to figure out what else to do, because I don't know if that'll take me 3 hours. Although I do have a lot of bugs. I think I need to just like go around and collect all of my insects that I need to pin. I've kind of just like stashed them away in different little containers and stuff, and I need to kind of put them all in one place, and then I need to remember to like rehydrate them before I come on here, because I can't really pin them if they're dry. So, okay, I think I'm going to show my progress so far with the snake, since he's starting to dry up a little bit. You can start to see a little more of the definition. Head's still wet, so I don't know how much of the detail on the head you can see, but we'll see. let's maybe try to fold this so it's not so cumbersome. Nice, okay. I was worried too that I kind of carved it too high and he was going to go over the edge. But he's pretty good. He's okay. Righty. I got the head. I don't know if you can tell what I was trying to do with the eyelids. I think that worked out pretty okay. Let me see if I can get closer and more focused. Is that better? Yes, kind of. So I have kind of the eyelids. They're not super symmetrical, but that's fine. And we got our little diamondback buddy here. So yeah, I want to take this like really rough texture I did on the edge and just keep going out with it and disperse it further out so that there's more of a like actual background behind him. We get down to the tail. I really like that rattle that I did. It's very textured and bumpy and I like it. And I like the little stripes I did down here. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with figuring out the scales and stuff. But yeah, it looks pretty good. If you look at it from a distance, it looks pretty nice, I think. I'm waiting, his head's still pretty wet, so it's a different color right now, but yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. Okay, I got so nervous about this. And then our rabbit. So he will be somewhat chasing our rabbit. And then the handle will be here. So I think I might end it just a couple minutes early today. Just because it's hot and I've done kind of what I want to do for the moment with this snake. I definitely want to put more obviously detail into it and more along the background and stuff, but feeling pretty good for today. And hey, we went from no snake to a snake, so we are I wouldn't say halfway done with the tooling. I'd say maybe, I don't know, third of the way done, quarter of the way done, something like that. I'd say a third of the way done. Because I've carved half of the designs I want on this side, but I still have to kind of finish them up and figure out backgrounds and stuff, but we at least got them on here. I still have to do 2 more big guys and then my little vulture. This side of the handle I'm not carving because again that's going to be the brand, so yeah, I still have half the whole thing to carve and this to kind of just touch up, but yeah, I'm not too mad at that. I'm fairly happy with my little snake here. I was really nervous about how the diamonds were going to show up, but I think I did pretty okay showing that like he's got scales but also the diamonds. I don't know. Not too mad at the head. I think I might still have to work on the head and work on the tongue a bit so it looks, you know, 3D and not just like a line carved into the leather, but yeah, so again, I don't think I'll be doing this next week. I think I might do some insect pinning and stuff, but again, we'll see what I feel like. So if you came on in and watched me do this, thanks for coming. This definitely is not going to be the last part by any means. I still have a lot of work to do on this case before it's anywhere near finished or even starting to get put together. So yeah, I'm going to post this on YouTube like I do the rest of my streams. If for some reason you feel like sitting and watching me for another 3 hours working on this, go for it, but do not have to by any means. But all of my other streams, including all my taxidermy stuff, will be going on YouTube for whoever randomly wants to watch it. But yeah, so I'm gonna head out and I'll see y'all next week, probably for some insect pinning. And Thanks for watching me make this snake. See ya.